This week on Hermitcraft.
You ready? Okay.
Welcome to the Hermitcraft Recap. My name is Pixelriffs, our writer is LoyXP, and the deck is stacked against us. With Tango Tech's Decked Out minigame finally opening to the Hermitcraft public, plenty of hermits rush into competing for the precious artifacts, keys, and compasses, so it's going to be progressively harder to describe exactly what is happening under the commercial area. As per usual, we'll do our best to keep up, and that's the sound of Zedaph completing a set of artifacts on a live stream. Never mind. Whether the Tangler Mark IV will crash the economy by inflating the price of a Stealth 3 card, or by collapsing in on itself and dragging the whole shopping district down with it, at least we know for sure the Ravagers will be well fed. And with that out of the way, let's take a look at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server this week.
Okay. Rensog!
Starting with Vintage Beef, whose latest addition to the wallpaper shop draws quite a crowd, and for good reason.
This was my face post horse headbutt. So
Wondering if the camera still works. Yeah,
That is an amazing...
yeah, exactly. It's like
It's just as majestic in its full 8 chunk by 8 chunk glory. Having mastered the art of signage at this point, it's child's play for Beef to add more neon glow to the roofs and walls of Three Fox Hole. But even a pocket Mumbo won't help him through the decked out dungeon, and Beef tangles with the beast a time or two before escaping with his loot box.
Oh my god, we did it! Oh, we got nice loot, but now we gotta make our way out without dying.
So Pocket Mumbo turns out to be too literal of a name, and a way more direct one than the one Tango gives him.
Hey, what's up? My name's Mumbo. I eat 12 dozen eggs a day and I can bench press a Volkswagen, eh?
Happy with his purchase, Tango Tech quickly upgrades his wallpaper to a Mumbonian advicificator device, video editing footage of Mumbo's actual mouth onto the map he's holding.
Mumbo, should I give Joe a free key and a free compass for his patience?
That doesn't sound like a good idea.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
This deepfake looking thing offers advice on whatever topic Tango happens to need it, functioning as a very creepy magic 8-ball. Just don't shake him too much or the redstone might fall out of his ears. In a nice bit of helping the recap, Tango actually provides a nice overview of everyone's decked out runs, mostly to point out all the mistakes they've been making. This naturally is not the issue with Zedaph, who already has quite enough experience making mistakes since he was one of the game's beta testers. One of his videos for the week provides a very exemplary run of the dungeon. The other has him make a computer that juggles things and serves drinks. He calls it a Combruter.
Well, I successfully made one of every potion type that I could, and it did not fail one time. It failed twice.
Silly as it may look, the thing knows the recipes for all potions available, and can even scold you for applying redstone to the wrong ones. Impulse SV also flings himself into Decked Out, so quickly that he forgot to take his armor off first. At least Tango was there to call him out, and after 2 successful rounds, he even compliments Tango to his face, while he's AFK and can't hear it.
You're a genius, man, and you put in a lot of hard work on this game. I'm gonna have fun playing this for weeks, as long as I don't die too many times to these guys.
The rest of Impulse's week is spent flattening a mountain by his local pillager outpost, the bet to convert the watchtower into a pillager captain trap for easy activation of the nearby raid farm. In the spirit of not taking off armor, False Symmetry affixes a crown to her Minecraft skin just to flaunt their victory in the MCC. It only hurts a bit to put a helmet over it. Well, the extra protection sure does help against the decked out Ravagers, and the piglins sure appreciate the gold while she's taking out more and more of their terrain in the name of expanding the community nether hub for main tunnels.
Right, well that was about 2.5 pickaxes worth, and it doesn't really look that much different. All very, very nicely. I might tweak it a little bit more, but I think I'm going to just mostly leave it for these guys to work on. They can tweak it and stuff.
Ironically, it's the dungeon that messed up a little during Cubfan's first run of it, and the entire server's first run, for that matter, which is why no one yet knew that the clank mechanic was only half working. Despite that, Cub leaves a glowing review of the place for the Herald. It's not really positive, just glowing. In his community duties, Cubfan revisits and redoes his chunk of the commercial area roads for a more asphalty feel, and picks up quite a bit of trash on the way, left over from people building their stores. These rogue chests and shulker boxes sat for a week in his possession waiting for their owners to claim them, and with none of those showing up, Cub decides to stop running a lost and found and run an auction house instead, which is more of an auction basement, seeing as how it's based from under the town hall.
Auction starts today, which is the 16th. Auction ends September 30th, so they got 2 weeks to get in here.
The winners will be announced on October 1st. Signs indicate where the boxes were found. You can look at the contents before you bid.
He gets some practice trading decked out loot with Joe Hills, who has a successful run through the Ravager's Den despite walking in backwards, rising levels of clank, and a zombie wanting to deposit his compass for him.
Dang it, I was like right on top of it. I was right on top of where the thing is. Did it go in? Hey, we got a shulker box. We got loot.
The game is right up Joe's alley, considering it's the one thing in the shopping district that doesn't require you to pay in diamonds. So Azumivoid actually takes out a few traders for daring to walk on the grass. His piglin setup takes a beating after the update, so that needs fixing, as well as the Nether portal network and the chicken minigame that XP Crafted has very much cracked like an egg.
Instant replay, you have actually done it.
Inspired by one of his patrons, Azuma adds 2 globes representing the overworld and the Nether to the towers of his base, breaking bank on the glass supply, but luckily there are free samples.
All of my ink sacs and squid now actually come through this one at the top again. It's just a never-ending struggle to get this to work, and I gotta share with you the image that Ethos sent me, so yeah, check that out. Hilarious, right?
When XP Crafted isn't demolishing scoreboard minigames, he's still leaving his mark on the landscape of his post-apocalypse city centre. The parking spaces are mostly intact, but the local stores haven't fared quite as well. The same might be said of his own shop, the Red Zone, which calls for a meeting with BOO so they can clear out the forest of rose bushes and discuss what's next. B-Dubs figures he can sweet-talk the mayor into believing a warped wart block tastes the same as a diamond, and after checking out the competition, they brainstorm ideas for enticing sales.
Oh, did you see
Me
I did
too.
this?
Yes,
With the pork chops. Free stack. with
Free
purchase.
stack. That's kind.
B-Dubs has his business strategy locked down elsewhere, adding a mesmerizing Starfield map room for patrons of Stargazers, set off by Etho's latest noteblock composition. A visit to Enforcer Cub's office has him worried he may not be the power behind the throne anymore, but at least he's got his own castle build to fall back on and a lodestone to point visitors to the correct entrance.
Not only does it look great, it looks fantastic. It's a beautiful central block. Man, I would use that so often. What a beauty of a block!
Jevin is seeing stars after the golems he employed to battle some wither bosses took a beating and left him fighting an uneven battle. The villager kind will answer for their shoddy craftsmanship once they move back into his base in the holding cells already planned for them. In the meantime, it's the redstone underbelly of the place that needs tending to. It's generally a good idea to hide away all your wiring when working in that proximity with water.
I'm just not real sure how to do that, so I'm gonna work on that a little bit later, but we've got some good, decent progress done on the base today. Let's go ahead and move on.
Which brings us to Hypno and his own risky water business. It's one thing to build up another story to the Seaside Oceanarium shop, it's another to fill it with poisonous pufferfish. This one's got a sting.
We have the tropical fish down here, and then upstairs we have the much larger pufferfish tank. I didn't realize that they can hurt themselves when they're so close to each other like that.
Stress Monster has her own aquatic endeavor to surround in glass, setting up a squid farm to save having to spend precious diamonds on black dye. After finally getting to AFK at it, she has all the ink she'll ever need and quite a few bonus fish.
Wow. Why was I just spawning fish for a long time? That's mental!
It's all in the service of getting black concrete to decorate a nether tunnel, which she plans to co-build with Iskal when he's done messing around with zombie villager heads.
What are you doing?
I am waiting for Stress Monster!
Dividing up the resource gathering between them, Stress returns to her base to build a concrete blast chamber and discovers that even her new nether storage area isn't safe from the piglin menace.
Seriously?
And then there's Lord Grian, the leader and only member of the Mycelium Resistance. Having been Rosebush bushwhacked last week for not paying his road taxes, he now goes full underground and puts together a headquarters for those willing to revert the Mushroom Island back to its biological roots for some reason. Though if the enforcers won't find him there, the 50 chickens worth of challenge debt just might. Luckily, Grian's been chipping away through them and takes out 2 birds with 1 stone when tasked with giving both Iskal and Mumbo a present. The present is an Uno reverse card, filled with chickens renamed to different challenges that the other two will now have to do, which is how Hermit Challenges is supposed to work anyway, so that checks out.
I'm trying to think what they gave me. Obviously, they had each other to bounce off of. I'm just doing this solo. I'm just sort of thinking what would be quite funny.
It'll give Iskall yet another way to procrastinate on placing leaves, although to be fair, he does a lot of that this week, and he's still waiting on his server mates to drop more foliage off with Bernie the Leaf Master. Once he's burned through his existing stock of oak fronds, he sets about taking care of his half of Stress's tunnel project, returning to his gold farm to stock up on crying obsidian and gravel, with the newly traded blackstone as a nice bonus.
The trades for Brian's changed in 1.16.2, didn't they? Yep, and I completely forgot about that.
And finally there's Mumbo, who is one of the first to buy his own face in wallpaper form despite technically owning it already. He also works on the greenery of his base, swapping the spruce floor for winding plank pathways with grassy bits and bamboo. In the process, he finds the mystery box Impulse dropped off with him last week, and true to the letter of the Pay It Forward book, creates his own box and randomizes the hermits to receive it.
And then I'm going to shoot down a chicken in the center, and whatever sign the chicken runs towards, that is who is going to be getting a gift. Are you ready? Rensog!
He has more gifts to give, bringing his base to life at last, creating a system which shuts down sections of the base if he doesn't regularly feed it golden apples. I guess all that fresh fruit is probably good for the heart. And that's about it for this week's recap. Our writer is LoyXP, and my name is Pixorix. In honor of Talk Like a Pirate Day, the End Screen Theatre presents our writer driving a pirate warship into the community area of the server he plays on. So see for yourself exactly how wrong that goes by clicking the end cards on the screen right now. Don't forget to leave a like while you're still here and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.